Let's go to John in San Diego. John, you're live on the Excellence in Broadcasting Network.
Hey, Mark, how you doing? I just wanted to kind of share something I'm not sure that a lot of your viewers or a lot of your listeners are really aware of. You know what the number one greenhouse gas is in the atmosphere?
The number one greenhouse
vapor.
Right.
And it's responsible for over 90% of what's classified as a greenhouse gas. But how do you demonize water vapor? I mean, clouds. How do you monetize? We got to get rid of those clouds. You know, I mean, it just doesn't have that ring of, we got to get rid of the carbon in the atmosphere. And the reality is and anybody can go to the web, look up on Wikipedia, you know, water vapor is like 92, 94%. CO2 is actually a bit player in the whole thing. It's at 300 parts per million or thereabouts, which is like 0.0003% of the atmosphere. If we were to eliminate all the CO2 that came from mankind that's generated, you know, we would still have over 90% of it is generated naturally. I mean, from volcanic action and other things like this. So it's really hard to understand why we focused on. Let's just assume for 1 second that global warming is actually happening. Let's just assume for 1 second that, you know, that we want to do something about it. Why would we even be focusing on carbon dioxide as being this big demon and the area of attacking it? Because even if we eliminated 100% of what came from man generation, we'd still have well over 90% of that left.
Yeah.
The real contributor is water vapor.
But you know, John, your state is doing a grand job of waging war on water, because you have there's this guy, have you seen this American Express commercial where there's this kind of metrosexual guy who's saying, I'm proud to be a dam buster, and what he means by that is he goes around getting dams decommissioned throughout the United States, things like the environmentalists. What's that dam in Ventura County that in California that the environmentalists are targeting?
I don't remember, but I have seen those commercials, and I know what you're talking about.
And they call themselves the dam busters. You know, for guys like me, dam busters was the Great British War movie about scientists coming up with the bouncing bomb that destroyed the German dams that crippled industrial production for Germany in the Second World War. Had a terrific, great marching music theme. Bum, 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 bum. The dam busters. Terrific. Now we don't bust the enemy's dams, we're busting our own. Because the environmentalists, and the rationale behind this is that water doesn't count as renewable energy. This is where all the eco-mumbo-jumbo gets completely out of control. Water does not count as a renewable energy source. So they say, we don't dam the torpedoes, torpedo the dams, because hydropower doesn't count as renewable energy. So, and that's the way they think in your own great state. If you went up the coast of California and you went to Sacramento and you said to them, hey, why don't we build a new Hoover Dam? People would look at you as if you were insane. Whatever you feel about big government types 80 years ago, they were happy to build the Hoover Dam. Now they're waging a war on dams, and they're waging a war on hydropower, and saying that the water power is devastating the atmosphere. So they're only one step away from demonizing clouds, John.
Well, I just find it very interesting when you keep hearing all this focus on the carbon dioxide, when the reality is it's a bit player in the whole global warming scenario of what they're proposing here, and that if you really, really wanted to get to the heart of what is supposedly causing global warming, I would think you would be focusing on what is the main cause, which is water vapor. But when's the last time you ever heard anybody saying we needed to do anything about the water vapor in the atmosphere? Never. It's always CO2, and it appears to be the bit player in the whole process.
Right. So basically, the CO2 are the equivalent of the 80-year-old nuns being patted down at the airport, while the clouds of water vapor are the equivalent of the Islamic terrorists. And we're not actually concentrating our energies. The environmental movement isn't concentrating its energies on the main source of the problem here.
Exactly. If their main purpose, their stated goal is that global warming is happening, we've got to do something about it, and the focus is always on these carbon credits or CO2, totally ignoring what is better than 90% of what causes purported global warming, which is water vapor. So I just think that was a very interesting insight that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about.
No, that you've got a good point there, John. And I'm going to challenge Al Gore now because he's been quiet. He's been quiet lately. I'm going to challenge Al Gore to have the guts to make an awareness raising single. He should do a cover version of "I've Looked at Clouds from Both Sides" now, because they're up there. As you said, they're 95% of the problem, and we're not addressing them. The environmental movement, if it's serious, has got to propose a serious cloud reduction program, no matter how much money it takes. We need to get serious about having fewer clouds in the sky if we are going to save this planet.